Hey everybody, Mr. Myers is here with you, and I would like to go over how to do a one sample t-test in your TI-Nspire calculator. So I'm using a TI-Nspire CX CAS version, but you know what? It doesn't matter if you're using a CAS version or if you're using a regular version. Each of these, each one will be fine for this problem. So here's the problem that I did in my previous video. If you'd like to watch the previous video, I go through this without using the calculator, and I will go ahead and link a link to this video if you want to go, and I just basically go how to do the entire hypothesis test. In this video, I just want to show you how to use your calculator to really come up with the mechanics section of your t-test. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to add a list and spreadsheet. In this case, I have data, so I have to use a list and spreadsheet and enter in my data in order to do this example. If I was just given the statistics, then I wouldn't have to do this first part and have a list and spreadsheet open. I could just run the t-test with the statistics given. So I'm going to add a list and spreadsheet here, and I'm going to title this list coffee. And I'm going to go ahead and enter in the data that I have here, okay? So I will put 9.9 and enter, 9.7, enter, and I'm just going to keep going and putting these in. Okay, so I've entered in my data, and I am just noticing that I have 19 pieces of information and not 20 as I thought that I did. So my value here might come out to be just slightly different because I have 19 and I was going under the assumption that I had 20 from the stem of the question. So I apologize for that. I guess I'll go back and fix that and add one more extra value in there to see what we get. But regardless of that, it's not gonna change everything all too much, okay? So we'll go ahead and put 9.9 here at 19, and then once we have our data in there, we're pretty much done with what we need to do. So again, all I'm doing is showing you how to do the one sample t-test in your calculator. So what we're going to do here is we can either create, so Control Doc to create a calculator page, and we can do this in our calculator, or we can also do it in our spreadsheet. So I'm just going to show you how to do it in the spreadsheet. So what you want to do is you want to click on the first cell here for part B, column B. We're going to hit menu. Menu, what's on the menu today? Statistics are on the menu, all right. And we want a stat test. We're doing a test. So we're going to click on stat test, and we got all these options, right, all the way up and down here. And we're going to do a t-test. So we're doing a one sample t-test, so we're just going to click t-test. Click t-test. Now it asks us, what's our input method? All right, what is our input method? I'm going to increase the screen size here for you there. We have data in our case. So if we did not have data and we just were given the statistics like the average and the mean, the average is the mean. Sorry, if we were given the mean and the standard deviation, we click sideways, and it gives us a drop-down menu, and we would click stats. But in our case, we're going to hit data. So I'm going to hit data, and then I'm going to hit OK. And then it's going to ask me what are my important things in my test. So what was my null hypothesized value? It was equal to 10. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to put equal null hypothesis equal to 10. My list here is coffee. My frequency is 1. I'll keep that. My alternative hypothesis is less than 10. Less than 10. So you're going to have to write that. Make sure you know that. And then I'm going to go and leave the result in column C. That's fine. I have nothing in column C. And if I wanted to, I can shade the t-distribution to take a look at what that looks like. So I'm going to hit OK. Now you don't have to shade the p-value. In fact, I'm going to leave it checked off here. All right, so here we go, and now it's got all our information. So we run a t-test with an alternative hypothesis of less than. We've got a t-value of negative 3.38, which I told you was going to be slightly different because we have a different degrees of freedom. In this case, I wrote this as a degrees of freedom of 19, which it really should have been 18 because I had 19 pieces of data. My x-bar is given, my standard deviation is given, and which are pretty close to what I had before. Actually, they're pretty close. And my n is 19. So now this is the important piece right here. There's my p-value. So my p-value is 0.0016, 0.0012, which again is slightly different because I used the degrees of freedom of 19 and the calculator used degrees of freedom of 18 because again there were only 19 pieces of data. Anyway, with this information we can go ahead and do our conclusion. So all I wanted to do is really show you how to use the TI-Nspire to do menu, statistics, stat test, t-test is what we're doing, okay? All right, there you go, folks. Have a good one.